This is Drewski, and I am Jonesing with
Man. And tonight, we're Jonesing on WhistlePig Old World Cask, the 12-year. All right. So, Drewski, appreciate you stopping through all from the greater Commonwealth of Virginia, kind of visiting us. And you brought with me quite an exquisite gift. This WhistlePig 12-year Old World Cask finish. It's got a long title. And it's a rye. Let's see, what do I know about it? I can read from the bottle that it's 80 proof.
Yes, sir.
And I think we had a discussion earlier that, the lower end, you don't want to go super high on the proof because sometimes you gotta, you're gonna lose some flavor when you go too high up. So 80 proof feels pretty good. I happen to know from just a little bit of reading beforehand that the guy who was the master taster for this was actually a former employee for Maker's Mark. So he's got a little longevity, long history with the spirits. He's our kind of guy. I happen to know that you are a bourbon whiskey kind of guy. I think you went to someplace special not too long ago.
Yeah, I did. I was in Kentucky back in March and did the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And tried them all.
Tried them, and I honestly believe you tried them all, Drew.
I did.
I do.
I don't remember much about it, but I tried them.
Well, I think that's the way it works. You don't have to remember them all. You just try them all.
That's right.
Just try them all. That's it. I went to a whiskey festival in Tennessee a couple weekends back. Pretty good. I tried to try them all, but I didn't try them all. I made a good attempt, but it was enough to really open my palate. Got some new things I'm excited about. But I'm super excited. I went in an ABC store, where it was a liquor store, because I was in Nashville. And the guy was, we were just chopping it up and chatting. And he was like, hey, you like whiskey? I got something I want you to try. I want you to try this WhistlePig. And I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a little go. And it wasn't this one. It was another, it might have been an entry-level one. But it was pretty good. So I'm super excited about this here. So
I really think you're going to enjoy it.
Okay.
Your last visit into the valley, actually, you and I were at Beamer 25 at Roanoke. And you said, Drew, you need to try this WhistlePig. And I said, okay. And I fell in love with it.
And that one was this one?
Was this one. And I fell in love. And I couldn't resist not bringing it to you.
Okay, good. Well, I will say it came a little light. So I'm going to say that you probably enjoy it already.
I don't enjoy it at all.
No. But let's do what we do. House rules. We start this thing off with a couple of neat shots. I think that no better bond is built than one that's built over a good whiskey bourbon.
I agree.
Is this a whiskey or considered a bourbon?
It is a rye whiskey, actually.
Rye whiskey. Okay, rye whiskey. All right, so let's pour us a couple here. And then we'll do us a couple on the rocks, and we'll talk about what we like about.
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, around here, what do we say?
Clink 'em and drink 'em.
Clink 'em and drink 'em. I like the smell of that. I had to, I wanted to down it, but I'm like,
you can't.
It's got a really good aroma to it. It's fragrant.
You gotta smell it. Take a deep breath.
I will say, I usually say I'm not a rye person. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it has that rye odor to it, but it's soft and simple. Okay, now let's clink them and drink it. Look.
What are you picking up?
I get it's a little peppery. There's a little bit of heat on it. More than really a little bit more than I expected for 80 proof.
It definitely, you can taste those peppery notes.
Yeah.
It's got that spice, which I really like. I don't know about you, but...
I do. That's the first thing that hits you. Mm-hmm. But like even right now, you got a little crackling and popping, a little flavor that's savoring around in there. I want to say I feel a little caramel note in there.
Okay.
I can definitely taste the barrel aging. You get that right away. That's American whiskey any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't know. Let's go on the rocks.
Clink them and drink them.
That's really good. That's really good. For a person who doesn't like rye, well, I say I don't like rye, but I feel like I might be turning on to rye more than ever before. I really like. What do you get when you taste it?
I get when you've got it on the rocks, the water really brings out the caramel and the vanilla and that oaky flavor. I prefer it on the rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it totally changes your profile of flavors here. You got to do that Kentucky chew and get it all around your mouth.
Yeah.
And really just...
Yeah. And it has the peppery boldness, but it's almost like it's kind of contained on the rocks. It just kind of floats there. It doesn't burn all the way through your body. It just kind of simmers. It's got a really good, like I said, it's a nice caramel note there. I get the aging. I'm trying to, there's something that I'm tasting, but I can't really pick out what it is.
I think you're picking up on the fruitiness, maybe? There's some fruitiness
maybe that's what it is. There's a little fruit flavor right there on the end.
I'm picking that up. I've only had this a couple times, but
only a couple times.
But I'm definitely picking up, those. Every time I drink it, it's a different flavor to me.
Yeah, I do like that. I really do like that. It is bold, but not Eagle Rare bold, but more so like a nice, well-rounded. I was about to ask about the aging, but it is 12 year, so there's definitely some aging that's going on with it. But it's finished in the following cask. So it is 63% Madeira, 30% French, and 7% port. You know what? That's what you get. That port. That sweetness is coming from the port aspect of it.
Definitely. And I feel like part of it too is they've aged that barrel, and when you're making a really good quality bourbon or whiskey, it's all about the barrel and the char, whether it's a couple seconds to 40 seconds. And the longer the char, the more of that oaky caramel flavor you're really going to pick up on.
Well, I will say that something I learned most recently at the little whiskey festival is that there is a level, like there's 4 levels of charring. And it depends, like I think most, granted, this was a whiskey festival, so I didn't try them all, but I made a really good attempt. And I think he said that most were 2 or 3. That was the standard, typical charring. But I didn't even, as much as we've had and as much as we've drank, I never knew that there were different levels to the charring.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty. This is really good, Drew. They say you're never supposed to ask a lady's age, but this is a 5th right here.
Yes,
can you give us disclose to us and viewers what the average cost is going to run for that?
You're looking at about $125 a bottle.
Okay.
And the reason behind that is the longer it ages in the bourbon barrels, with the expansion and the contraction, you lose what they refer to in Kentucky as the angel share.
Yeah.
And so you may have a full bourbon barrel when you put it in the rickhouse.
Right.
And then 12 years later, you're left with maybe a third of the barrel.
Oh, wow.
And so, you don't get as much. So you've got to make up for it somehow.
Yeah. And cost is a good way to go.
Yeah.
The bottles are nice shaping. It's really, for me, I want to say it reminds me of Four Roses. Small batch barrels kind of shaped similar to this. But earlier I said wow. And the wow was going back to this again after it sat for a while, and it was almost sweet.
Yeah.
It was almost.
Yeah, it really.
It was almost Swedish.
And you had
not Swedish, like not from Sweden. But it had a really robust, sweet kind of flavoring that came with it.
Yeah.
So the longer it sat on the rocks, the more that I guess, and it could be psychologically, I'm thinking port, but I really felt like once it chilled, I tasted that. I think I would say probably the heat that you get on the front end. As it chills, you don't get that as much, and the port shines through. The sweetness of the port shines.
I definitely agree with you.
For sure.
I like the smoothness. I like it on. I love it on the rocks. I don't like it straight up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is definitely on the rocks for me too. But most of my things are on the rocks. So, couple before we go into whether we would. Well, let's do that first. Favorite or flop? Judging by the bottle, I think I know what your answer is, but I'm gonna say it's a favorite at 125. I definitely think it would be nice to have a bottle in the cabinet.
Yes.
Because I feel like what I've tasted so far, it's worth it. I think it'd be worth 125 bucks. I'd love to have somebody over and pour them. I'd love it for Jones. I got to get Jones to get a good swig of this and see what he says.
Yeah, I think he'll really like it.
It's not. I don't know if I'm gonna say it's the world's best whiskey in the world. World's best whiskey. So we've had a couple drinks. I'm not gonna say it's the world's best, but I would say it's top 5. It's up there pretty good as far as just a regular old whiskey, and $130, and that's not bad because whiskey can get pretty pricey up there.
Yeah.
So I would make it a favorite. What about you? Favorite or flop?
Absolute favorite.
As if we didn't know.
I'm not a huge rye whiskey.
Yeah.
I prefer bourbon, but for a rye whiskey, out of the rye whiskeys I've had, this is my top.
Yeah.
I'm more partial to the Basil Hayden and the Blantons.
Okay. Yeah.
But this, for the price and for just enjoyment, you're gonna find it on my bar.
For sure. So, one thing that I always ask of my guests is, one, if they got any social media that they'd like to share, and two, any tipsy tales. Tipsy tales around here, just, a good drinking story that you might want to share with the crowd.
Oh, definitely. Well, you can find me on Instagram. I want to say I'm AJW 2592. Mm-hmm. You can find me on Facebook under Andrew Williams or Drew. And Twitter, I also want to say it's like AJW 2592. I don't know all these things off the top of my head.
Well,
but
if you'll correct it with me, I'll make sure we post in case anybody wants to hit you up. Any single ladies out there looking for Papi Chulo? Drewski's the man.
Right.
But this, I hate to keep going back to it, but every time I taste it, it gets better.
Me too.
Every time I taste it, it gets better.
I've had it multiple times now, and it hits.
Yeah,
it hits on the notes you want it to.
It hits. Yeah.
You asked me about Tipsy Tale.
Tipsy Tale.
I gotta keep this PG.
We can go PG-13.
I going to Kentucky, I had a pretty good time, and ended up in a gentleman's club at the end of the evening on one of those nights, and
whiskey will do that to you.
It was a good night. I will tell you that.
Yeah, at least the ladies for sure had a good night.
They definitely did.
Yeah. Money unfolds a little bit easier with whiskey.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, this is been another episode of Jones and Mann. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter under @JonesNmann.com. Be sure to like. I think like is over here. Subscribe, share, comment. We want to hear more. Shoot us an email. Just keep us a report going. Jones will be back pretty soon. I think we got some episodes coming up with Jones. In the near future, so he's got a ton of bottles. I gotta get him to give this a try and see how he feels about it. But this has been another episode of Jones and Mann. And as always, click them and drink them.
Click them and drink them.
And we'll see you next time.